What is up, friends? Welcome to another edition of the ever fantastic Trail Trash podcast. We are with two friends, and I call them friends now because we just spent 10 minutes getting to know each other, and that makes you a friend of the show in our books. They are the co-hosts of the On the Runs podcast, and we will let them tell their story as to why it's called On the Runs. Erika Hamel and Eric Knuuttunen, like Knute Rockne.
Nailed
Yes!
it.
There we
Nailed
go.
it.
Nailed it.
All
Nailed it. And
right.
I hit record on that too. Perfect. We're good. So, how are you guys today? Thanks for coming on. We really are. We're really excited to talk to you guys today.
We're great,
We're
but let
so
me tell you
excited.
something. Sometimes it's fun to mess up, and you don't mess up on purpose. It just happens naturally. And tomorrow you're going to hear I messed up Erica's name. So still, sometimes we mess up just like on our own names. So
Yeah,
but we
Eric's
have
the
fun.
king of messing it up, and I love it. He commonly mispronounces just words here and there, and oatmeal is one of them, and that will forever be like a popular word in our circle. But
All right. What's
thank
the
you
story
so
behind
much, you guys, for having
oatmeal?
us.
Yeah. What's the story
Oh,
behind oatmeal? I
our
gotta
whole
know.
March Madness thing that we had,
Uh-huh.
we broke up brackets, and one of them was race day breakfast, and oatmeal was on the
You're
roster.
saying it
And
wrong. It's
what?
oatmeal.
I'm trying to get there, but he tried like 8 times and oit, 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 kept coming out of his mouth. And we're like, oatmeal. And
Not that
oatmeal
hard.
just stuck. So it's
Yeah.
it's hilarious, and we can't call it anything else.
It's like the Family Guy episode when she's trying to eat Cool Whip, and it's like Cool Hip. Wait, no,
Cool
it's did you say
Whip.
Cool Hip? It's say cool. Now say whip. Put it together. Cool Hip. You're eating hair.
No. And then also for those of you who are listening to the podcast, not watching the YouTube channel, Eric is also bald like I am. So
Beautiful,
we have another bald brother in the house.
beautiful,
So,
bald, shaved head.
I
I
mean,
feel bad for everyone out there who doesn't have what we have.
they're
Eh,
just
I'm
let them
getting
be
there.
jealous. Just let them be jealous. Are you an everyday shaver?
I am. Yeah, well,
Okay.
every other, but
I'm an
I
every
try
other
to shave
dayer.
every day.
Yeah.
I have a couple of those like head shaver things, like the
Mhm.
electrical razor, and I keep one at work in the locker room there, and I keep one here at home, and I try to do it every day, but sometimes I get lazy and I go like a whole week and it's just wild.
Oh,
I hate it.
well,
I
and that
hate it.
hurts. When you go to shave that hurts. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a lot of respect for you guys. I can't even shave my legs every day. It's like every 4 days, and I'm still like, this is annoying.
She
So
lets
good for
her
you
legs
guys.
grow like a tree though.
The tree trunks, yeah.
Yeah.
No, now that it's summer and I'm outside more and people actually will see them, I'll start shaving them more. But yeah, we'll see.
Nice. Well, and yeah, you're right. You're not hiding them in leggings. So
Shorts weather. I'm so
there you go.
excited.
There you go. And you guys have much more temperate summers up in the Boston area than we do, where it just gets ungodly humid and hot. And you just step
I've
out
heard.
even, yeah, you just step out at 6:30 in the morning and it's just automatically air you can wear. And it's
Oh
just
no.
you can't even breathe right, and it's just terrible. So
Well, you
It's
Well,
guys,
that must
called
be
it's
awful for running.
it's called dew point.
yeah.
And the dew point here at about 6 a.m. is about 72 degrees.
Mm.
Which you walk outside and it like engulfs you. So
Immediate
I
swamp
don't-
ass, right?
yeah, like
right away.
I don't
Right
I
away.
don't run in the morning because of that. I would much rather just run in 99-degree weather and humidity than 75-degree weather and a dew point at like 72, because 72-degree dew point is really stifling. It's just
Oh
hard to
no.
explain.
Well, you
Yeah.
guys are in Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So you all three of you are in Tennessee. So I used to live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I had
Okay.
no AC in my truck. And so I would have to carry extra t-shirts all the time. And I would drive with my windows down. When I get to where I'm going, I would take my shirt off and put on a dry one. And I'd have an extra one in there all the time. But we had a guest on our podcast, well, Erica, maybe almost 2 years ago, Mike
Mhm.
Beeman. He lives in Tufton, Georgia, or something like that. And he has something he
Tifton, I
calls
think.
Tintin, maybe.
Tifton.
There we go.
Tipton? I don't know.
Sure.
He lives in
Doesn't matter.
Oatmeal, Georgia.
Yeah, exactly. He has something he calls the Beeman points, and he takes the temperature, the humidity, and the dew point, and you add it up, and that's your Beeman point score. And if it's like, I don't know, over 160, it's like a super hot, unhealthy data run. And he says, like in Tifton,
200 is
Georgia.
like bad. So
Yeah. So he's like, that's what I
Georgia,
have every day here in Tifton, Georgia now. Because he's from New Hampshire, where we are, and he moved to Georgia.
that would be the wrong direction for me, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm originally from Indiana, and so I know all about humidity, but it's not so much
Mhm.
dew point up there, but it's still very humid. So Erica, let's
yes.
go ahead and just dive right on in.
Start
You
with the
just
Sure,
beauty.
did
I
let's
your
like
go.
it.
first. You just did your first 100, correct?
I
Not
did.
just,
I
not
did.
just. You did it this past year. That was
Yep,
your
it was.
first 100, right?
That was my first 100, and it was a doozy, let me tell you.
What were your initial thoughts?
Ah,
And how quickly did you sign up for the next one?
it's funny you say that. So going into it, I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I prepared myself the best I could, did all the training runs, but there were little things here and there that I didn't really know about, like having gaiters on your shoes and just
Mhm.
going through. I think I made it to about 40 miles into the Yeti 100 last year, and I met up with somebody and I just started walking and I never started running again. So that was one thing I recommend: run your own race. Don't stop to talk to people for very long. It's cool to make friends, but
Mhm.
it's better to just do what you trained for. So I kind of set myself up for failure that way. And then just getting so much debris and rocks and dirt in my shoes. I had the worst blisters and chafing and itchy feet, and it was just agony from probably 60 miles to the end.
And
It
that's one
was
of the things
really,
that, yeah, that's
really
one of
tough.
the things that I think gets overlooked on our rails to trails is those
Mhm.
little rocks. If you don't stop and get them out right away, you're just
Mhm.
asking for trouble as the race goes on. The
Yes.
Yeti has the Yeti culture, the Yeti races, all of it. Jason Green and everything he does has a very soft spot in Jason and Mize and John's hearts. We love everything about everything that Jason Green does for the trail community.
Yes.
We have been to our fair share of Yeti events. Actually, I can't say that. I can't say we. Jason and John have been. I have only technically done one Yeti
Mhm.
event, and that was the 24-hour right when COVID happened, everything shut down. He did the 24-hour, the five. What I don't even remember how far it was. 5 miles.
It was a virtual where you did like it was like a 50K in 24 hours. So do the math on
Mhm.
that. Um, but if you see this arm right here,
Oh,
that is
that's awesome.
see the Yeti tattoo.
Mhm.
And
So
so yeah, so that and I think the thing about that race is, and you're right, the Gators are very important. Um, with that being said, I've never worn gaiters. Of course, I've not had a huge issue with debris there either. I've had about a bazillion other issues. But I think
every other
one
issue
thing,
but debris.
yeah, and I think one thing that gets lost in these rails to trails races, in these flat style races, is that you use the same muscle consistently over and over again. Unlike a mountain trail race where you're doing a whole lot of different things and using a whole lot of different muscles,
Yes.
um, which can make those type of races a whole lot more, I guess, more challenging than people would realize.
I mean, I went into it not really knowing what to expect in the first place. So that was a challenge in itself, especially the end when you're coming back from or going back to Abingdon. I didn't realize that little 2% grade that added up real fast, and I just couldn't. I wanted to cry just looking at like up at this hill that just seemed like an entire mountain when it really was only like a 2% grade to the end. It was like in the last 5 miles. I'm like, where did this come from? I don't remember this the first time around. Like it just crept up on me once again. But I have to say, it it felt really good to finish. I was kind of shocked I did. I was one of the golden hour finishers. I finished with 30 minutes to spare, basically.
That is
I thought I was going to miss one of the cutoffs at Damascus. that last pass around. But the people on the course were the ones that kept me going. The people who would come up behind me and just kind of give me a little bit of encouragement as I went. I got kind of adopted by a couple of people, and they were just like, yes, let's go. And I was like, I'm not letting you go, because if I let you go, I'm done. Like, this is it. So I met some incredible people. The ultra trail community and the Yetis themselves are just absolutely amazing. Just such a family of, like, they call themselves outcasts, but I just feel so loved by them, and
Mhm.
it's incredible. So I can see why you guys keep going back and trying these different races. I do wish I lived closer so I could actually get to experience like some of the shorter ones, the more I guess more manageable ones.
You would probably like what's that one that you're thinking about toying with, Jason? Dark Anchor?
So
Oh, is that the Georgia one, right?
that's a
Mhm.
Georgia one. I think
You can
though,
get some beaming points.
I think the
Yeah,
best,
you
Yes.
would.
I think the one that you would probably like the most, he literally just got done putting it on. It's called Troublesome Hollow. I've
Mm.
actually not got to do that one yet. It's just a straight up 50K.
Hmm.
But it's in this really interesting area close to, of course, it's over in the Bristol area, but it's super nice. The Savannah race I have done before. It was actually called the Seven Trails, and he
Mm.
renamed it the Dark Anchor, because originally Seven Trails was up in Damascus. That was where
Okay.
the race was originally at. But anyway, it's a timed event, and you just do as many 5 mile loops as you can in this little park in Savannah, and um, it's really awesome. The bugs are really trash. We got ate up by these weird little bugs that are only native to like the coast, and they were
Oh
like some
no.
sort of sand gnats was what they were called.
But I think you
Uh,
guys described them as bigger than sand gnats. They were more like sand moths or
they
something.
were they were
They were huge.
highly uncomfortable.
Oh
And maybe
no.
that's the event that we get Eric into a Yeti, the Yeti
Ooh.
culture.
See,
Because
if we could do that, I would love it, because he's just a notorious non-committer. And I've
Gamophobia.
been gamophobia, yes. I've been trying to get him into, we have a race up here called the Hamster Wheel, and it's a timed looped race, and it's local. Like, it's maybe 20 minutes from his house. And he's just like, well, I don't know if I can do it yet. So I'm like, just sign up, dude. Do 6 hours, just start yourself off. I'm gonna be there for 30. Like, come keep me company.
that's a long
But
time to be
if
out there. So
it is, and but I
what
mean, it's November. It shouldn't be warm.
shouldn't be. So
The bugs should be gone. I mean, I say a lot of shoulds, but who knows about the weather. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see him do a Yeti race. He'd love the people too.
I
he
would.
has that personality based on
I,
the reels that I've seen and the
He would make
conversations
so
we
many
had.
friends. He would make
So
so many friends.
you
you know
know,
what you
I could do the 30-hour. I would just leave and come back a couple of times throughout the day to go get the
Sure.
kids, go to the cheerleading competition, go feed them dinner, put them to bed, go back to run
I
more
think
around
that's
the
a good
course.
idea. Do
there
it.
you go. You know,
Maybe I
it's
do that.
you
I want to, but man, kids, I got 3 little ones. And so if I can just stay in half marathon shape all the time, where I can do a half marathon on a whim and maybe occasionally push it to a marathon, like I'm good.
All you
And
got
when
to
they're a
do
little
is
older,
power hike, man. That's what ultra runners are good at, power hiking. So you
and
don't even need
eating.
to run the whole thing. And
Yeah.
I'll,
eating, yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
definitely.
I'll get there. I told Erica today we're on a run. I go, I kind of feel like a fraud. I'm going on an ultra running, trail running podcast, and I barely
No.
do either. I've
No.
never done an ultra.
But that's all right because you're her best training partner because she already mentioned that she doesn't like hills. And on your reel today or your
Yeah,
story,
yeah.
you took her to go find some hills. So look at that. You're
I
already
didn't
getting her
tell her
ready.
either. I didn't tell
No.
her. I just said, meet me here. We're going on a run, and there's many loops. And I'm like, we're gonna go this way, then that way. And she goes, where? And I go, just trust me. Ended with a hill.
It was
There you
very
go.
last minute, but
No,
I mean, I didn't complain, did I?
no.
I
I
need
don't
the
think I
hills.
did.
That's why. Like I was running the hills either way.
I love
Well,
hills. I love
he's got
hills.
a mountain to climb in a few weeks. So, well, make it 2 months
Two
ish.
months. I'm doing the
There you
Mount
go.
Washington Auto Road race. So
Tell me about it. What's that?
Mount
I'm
Washington's the tallest mountain in the Northeast. home of the worst weather in the world, highest wind ever, and all that. So Mount Washington, it's in our neck of the woods, just up north in New Hampshire. I've skied it, I've hiked it, I've carried adaptive athletes up it to raise money for adaptive sports. I want to run up it, and then later I'll do the bike race up it. And then once I get everything, all that I got to do after that is drive a rally car up it. So it has a auto road that's been there for like 100 years, and it's a running race, and it's a lottery. You got to sign up for the lottery to get in. I got in this year. I was really excited about that.
Nice.
It's on Father's Day weekend. I don't know what I'm doing. Am I going up by myself? Am I taking the whole family in the camper? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But that's kind of like, I love that area. I've done mountain bike races there. They have cross country skiing and cross country races and whole sorts of things up in the Pinkham Notch area. Great Glen trails of Gorham. It's right just south of Gorham, New Hampshire. Erika, you should go up there. The Great Glen trails are beautiful. It's a 2.5 hour drive from where we are, so it's 3 hours from you, Erika. But I have
I'll have to do a real long run to make it worth it.
Yeah, it's 7.6 miles, but it's all uphill. It's around 4,000 feet elevation. I'm guessing now. I'll look it up later, but it's the mountain's 6,288 feet. And yeah, it's about 4,000 feet of elevation. They say it takes you whatever your half marathon time is. That's what it takes you to get up. So,
of all the races I've run, the half, which I've never actually raced a trail or road half, is my favorite distance to run. And I say that, and people are like, why? Because if you were to train for a half, you can realistically do it on 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it. 4 would be ideal, but you could do it on 3. You go, you run for 2 hours. You're not trashed afterwards, so you can go have beers and burgers afterwards and be just fine. No?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just
That's
saying.
definitely true.
The half is a great distance.
Yeah.
So
And my
being
goal-
in half marathon shape is a good goal.
Yeah, that's my goal. Like I've said this story many times on the pod. I was in Lake Placid, New York for a wedding. The night before, I was out in the hot tub drinking beers, eating pizza with all my buddies, and there was a half marathon the next morning at 8 a.m., 100 feet outside my hotel. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go do this. I was Ironman training at the time. And so I just walked over there. I signed a check for $80, ran in the Lake Placid Classic half marathon. I PR'd at the time, and I'm just like, yep, a half marathon shape. That's my jam. That's where I want to be. And so I just looked it up, 7.6 miles, 4,650 feet of vert, and 22% max grade up the Mount Washington Auto Road. So that's in 2 months. But yeah, half marathon shape. If I can stick there, I kind of feel good. So
you just mentioned Ironman. So that automatically qualifies you for the show because you're an endurance athlete at that point.
True.
Tell me about your
He's
Ironman
got it.
experience. So, which I guess, did you do the full, the 140? Have you done just the 70, or did you stick to the Olympic sprint distance?
I've done one full, and I've worked my way up. So, I started, my wife we had our daughter, she's 8 now, and she wanted to do a triathlon right after we had her. So 12 weeks after we had our daughter, Adeline, she did a sprint triathlon and she won. And I'm watching everybody. Yeah. Oh yeah. She like would win. She won a 5K the day before too.
Is your wife Wonder Woman?
Well,
like
She is with all those kids.
We're a little busy now with more kids. We went from 1 to 3, but I'm watching this race, right? And I'm watching people do it in a Huffy bike and everything. And I'm thinking there's no way I could ever do this. So a year later, I did the very same triathlon. It was a sprint. And 2 weeks after that, I signed up for another one. And I just worked my way up, and I was like, I could never do an Olympic. Never. I couldn't swim that. And then I did. And I'm like, I could never do a half. So I did a half in Old Orchard Beach, which is Maine, in the ocean. That swim was, I was so scared of the ocean swim. Like, imagine 2,500 people in wetsuits all look like seals swimming in shark country of the ocean, right?
That's a no for
cold
me.
Water too?
Yeah. Well, it was
No.
August.
Mm-mm.
It was August. Yeah, it was
Oh, okay.
August. And then I signed up for my first full, and I did that in Quebec. So that was in Mount Tremblant, which is this beautiful area. And I did that one because we had a guy we worked with. He's been on the pod a few times, shared his story. It's epic story of crashing his bike, breaking his ribs, hospital visits in Mexico after a race and getting super sick and getting like drugged up before trying to qualify for Kona. He's awesome. He's a legend. His name's Scott Black. Scott was doing Ironman Mont Tremblant and I was a Sherpa. So I said, if I ever do one of these, I'm doing the same one. And the 1 year he wasn't going to do it, I was like, well, fuck it, dude. We have to go. I'm going to do it. So I've done one full and I'll do one again. I want to do Lake Placid, but it's so hard training for those things. Like you need 30 plus hours of training a week. Maybe you could get away with 15, but you can't do it with 3 kids.
I have so much respect for Ironman triathletes who do the full, because I can barely squeeze in. I can do it. My wife is very supportive of me. If like I was looking at my training plan for the next 2 weeks from my coach, because he just started putting it on my calendar, and I've got 8.5 hours. If I do the bare minimum of the runs, because we do time based, if I do the bare minimum of what's scheduled for those days, I've got 8.5 hours of running, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna feel guilty. There's no way that
So
I
time
could do.
consuming.
Right. And Jason on
Yep.
on the last episode we just did was talking about how it's a second job trying to train for these hundreds. And that's
Yeah.
just at 10 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to fit in the biking and the swimming and practice your transitions and the block training. And nope. So kudos to you.
I freaking loved
for
it. I loved
oh
every second of it. I would like milk it at work just to get a little extra recovery or a little extra stretch. I was taking 90-minute lunch breaks. I was loving it. And the guy I worked with, I was training with him. So it was phenomenal. I couldn't do it today. I did all this with 1 kid. Right now I have 3.
now you just put him in the thing in the back and you just drag him with you.
Yeah, no,
Right?
I could. We're about that stage. Like that would be some epic training too. I would be so
It's
strong.
a crazy workout with that, especially a double stroller. If you're
Mhm.
trying to push that, like
Mhm.
that's an upper body
Yep.
workout too. So you're
Here's
getting a lot of good workouts with that.
here's an FKT you can set. So
Mm.
you go do
For
this Mount
double
Mitchell.
strollers.
Yeah, you go do this Mount Mitchell or this Mount Washington thing with the double
Oh my-
stroller, and now all of a sudden you're the fastest person to run up
And I'm
Mount Washington
experienced
with
there.
a double stroller.
I'm experienced because it won't be my
See?
first time. It would be
You're
my
giving
first
him
time with a double
ideas.
stroller, but I pulled people up that mountain before. So
See, look at I'm trying to make him commit
Yeah.
to something here.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope it works.
But I'm gonna have to say I'm a game day decision. That's me. That's me for the next few years. Game day decision. Erica's doing, and we should definitely talk about this ultra. She does Anchor Down every year. Every year I'm a game day, weekday decision. I don't know if I can go. So find somebody else. And if I can make it, I'll make it. But
I think
I
I have
rely-
a backup, but we'll
I
Is
see.
rely
this
on
the-
babysitters and parents.
Look, my parents come in the clutch a lot
Yes.
for us.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to races, this camper. Correct me if I'm wrong. You talked about that in an episode of your podcast.
Yeah.
Where you had a guest on and you guys were she had just done Anchor Down, and you were talking about, if I get this camper, then I'll go do this. Do I remember that right? And did you get said camper?
So
You've got a camper, all right.
yeah, I have a camper. I think what you're thinking of is 2 things. You're thinking of one, how I got the camper, and that's a
Okay.
story. And then you're thinking Erica's doing hamster wheel. And if she gets 5 people to like go with her and be there with her,
All
I
the
said
caveats, man. Just bring the camper.
it's a lot of work.
I need it.
So I said I
need it.
would bring you the camper, but not just for you. You need 5 people, so not including her, so that makes 6. And it's not like you can't have Maurice Lohman, who's actually camping 100 feet over there. You all have to stay together, like an On the Runs podcast base camp, and I will bring my camper because this is November. Typically, well, last year I didn't bring it because I keep it at my dad's house, because when I got this camper, I'm like, where am I going to put it?
Mm.
And there was
Right.
no turning this camper down. We'll get to that. So my dad already winterized it 2 weeks before. And when he told me, hey, I know you're busy, I winterized your camper for you, I was like, oh, well, Erica, you're not getting the camper this year, because I brought it 2 years ago to Hamster Wheel. But yeah.
And it was so cold this past year when 2 years ago when you brought it, it was like 75 degrees in New
She never
Hampshire
used
in
it.
November. I didn't need
That's
it.
hot.
I
It's
slept
warm, I guess.
outside in a
So-
chair.
That is very
was
much
freezing
your
this year.
camper is Jason's shaggin' wagon. So Jason had this van that he dearly misses, don't you, Jason?
Not really. The bad thing about it was, so all my kids are grown, and so I was previously married, and I always drove a van in my previous because we had kids, and so by default, I was always the one that was shit on and had to drive the van. So I get a divorce and I meet my new wife, and she's got a daughter, and I have three daughters. So we got four girls. And so we had to buy a vehicle, and said vehicle ended up being what we call the shaggin' wagon. That was back in 2013. And so over the years, because it was a minivan, it was always the crew vehicle. So
Oh,
every race
mhm.
we went to, that damn van had to go. There's been more naked people in that van. There's been
Love it.
more sweaty ball sacks and ass cheeks on those seats. My wife, her exact quote was, because I just traded it in. She said, "Don't stink up the new car like the van." And so
Love it.
and so what I've been doing is I've been bringing a change of clothes with a full can of Degree body spray. And so what I do is I change clothes, and then I empty half a can of Degree body spray on me.
So
And then I
he smells like
come
a
in,
middle school locker room.
and so I come into the house the other day, and my wife's like, "Holy hell, what is that awful smell?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? I used a half a can of Degree body spray." And she's like, "That's it." And I was like, "You said I didn't need to stink up the van, so I'm making sure I don't stink up the van." And she goes, "Well, I didn't mean you use a whole can of Degree body spray to mask the smell of
Can't
it."
even
You
use
didn't.
So,
can't
I
even
used
use
half a
brute.
can.
So, yeah.
but no, that van had over 200,000 miles on it, and went up and down White Top, went to oh gosh, it
Must have
went
been a
to the
Toyota.
huh? It was
A
a
Honda
Honda.
Odyssey. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Honda
okay, that would do it too.
Yeah.
Basically same thing, right?
Yeah.
So, but it only had one problem the entire time, which was a bad alternator. So 200,000 miles, bad alternator was the only thing we ever replaced on it. So I traded that in for a Mazda CX-50, which,
Nice.
yeah. So I've moved on out of the dad mode because all my kids are grown, and
Yeah.
so and I did all my hunter training, by the way, when all those kids were like 8, 9, 10 ish in the age span. Back when I was really trained up for the hundreds, probably at my best peak level of training was back during that. And it was tough. Like, you miss a lot. And honestly, man, I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, in retrospect, it wasn't really worth it. Cause like, you look back at it, and like I was talking last night, like it really does feel like a second job. Like, I remember last year training for this past Yeti, and Saturdays were 30-mile runs, and that's like a half a day.
Your
That's
whole
all a
weekend
day
is
for me,
gone
man.
because you're not going to
And
want to
and
do anything on
Yeah.
right,
Sunday either. And
right.
just,
I
yeah.
mean, well, and the bad thing was Sunday runs were 15 to 20 miles. And so you had 30 miles on Saturday, and then 15 to 20 on Sunday, and then Monday you were back at work. And then that was your rest day, and then Tuesday you were back out running 10 miles. And it was this never-ending cycle of like just constant training. And like, is it all worth it? I don't know. But like, I look back, and I think, was all that training really worth the time that I missed with the kids during that part of it? You know what I mean? Thank goodness I had a very supportive wife during it all. But man, it was definitely tough, to say
Yeah,
the
I hear
least.
you. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm at the phase right now, thinking in my mind, just let's stay in half marathon shape. I've actually I announced the other day I'm going to sell my tri bike because I like the road bike and I want to get a new road bike. But I'm not ready to do 30-hour weeks right now. I can do it when they're a little older or something, but I'm having too much fun. And if I can just do a run 4 days a week, my coach keeps me in shape, and maybe in the fall we ramp it up for a marathon. I can do that. I could not do 30-mile weekends though. Like, that's
Oh no,
insane.
that's
Not
one
not
day. That's
well,
one
yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah. Well, I
That's
couldn't
what I'm in the
I
thick of
can't do
that
it for
right
the whole
now. And
weekend.
it's tough. I don't have kids, and I don't even want to do that. Like 5, 6 hours out. And then, yeah, like you said, Sunday will be like 15 miles. You're like, no, you just don't want to. It really is tough to do all this training. I don't foresee myself doing many more of these because like you said, that you had that question earlier, how long did it take me to sign up for that second one?
Mhm.
So as I have 2 miles left of Yeti, and somebody like came up to me and she's like, "You're doing great." Like we had a small conversation. She goes, "When's your next one?" And I say, "Never. I'm never doing this again." And then probably like we did our own little recap, and I think I was like, I can do better. I know what I did. I learned lessons. So I think it was like a week and a half, 2 weeks where I was like, all right, maybe. And then I was on top of sign up. So I have
Mhm.
two official 100 milers, and then I have a couple of loop races. So we'll see what happens. But I'm like, after this year, I want to just go back to casual fun running and I'm trying to run all the 50 states, like at least a marathon in each one. So I'm trying to tick those off, just getting to travel. And that's way more fun than spending so much of my time just training. It just is so time consuming.
So
Who
Hey,
besides
says
the
Garrett,
that?
states,
hey,
how many states
hey,
do you
hey,
have? Go ahead, Jason.
hold on, real quick. We got to
Yeah, yeah.
stop. We got to do the episode plug. Garrett knows what's
Oh
coming.
God.
There's one race you have to run, and I'm
Well,
I'm
well,
0 for like 30 now.
let's
I'm
ask
0
it
for
this way.
30. I've not gotten a single guest to sign up for this race.
Does it
But
have to be a marathon or can it be something?
no, fuck it. She's got to do the real thing, okay? There's no half-ass in this, okay? So she
I
needs
like your
so
style,
you,
Jason.
you need to come down to Tennessee.
Hmm?
And it's the first weekend of May. It's a
Mhm.
Laz and Steve Durbin race. It's one of the oldest ultra marathons in the United States, and it's called the Strolling Jim. If
Strolling
you
Jim.
Strolling Jim, it's 42 miles
Mhm.
on
It's all
paved
pavement.
paved country roads. You get insulted by Laz throughout the race because he paints on the road that his mom
She's gonna do
runs
it
these
just for
hills.
Laz.
Yeah, he's there. It's actually
Mhm.
more of a Durbin style race, which
Mhm.
Steve Durbin is a freaking legend. But Laz is there taking pictures, shaking hands, kissing babies. Strolling Jim is the race that they offer a cash reward for the fastest. Like if you can beat the fastest time ever. I think
Mhm.
Zach Bevan actually beat the long-standing record a couple years ago. But anyway, make a long story short, it's it's very interesting. The course support is trash. He puts jugs of water from like Kroger on the side of the
Mhm.
road. There's like 3 legit aid stations that have like beef sticks and like some sort of chips in a bowl. And then
Uh-huh.
the best part is you're more than likely not going to get chased by a dog at some point throughout the race because you're on these old country roads in War Trace. But everybody should do it just once, and it's worth. And I don't know how fast you are, but if you can get under 7 hours, you get a fancy red T-shirt.
Which
Well,
for
Only
I have
40
to
Laz,
miles. You can
yeah,
do it.
that's a
I
lot
have to
of.
say I don't have Tennessee as a state. I
See,
would totally be up for that, but I am not fast enough to get a red
Well,
t-shirt.
then you can just get the medal. But
I'm all for that.
what you can do is you can get Eric to come down and crew you because you're going
Hmm.
to have a crew, and you can like live stream it with you like dying on the course because it's literally like hot as hell,
Good
and
and
content.
no one is heat acclimated yet.
no one's
So
True.
no. And for the record, I have completed this race, so I'm not just pushing a race that
So you know the real deal. You know what's up.
I know what's up. I've completed it, and I've asked every guest to run this race, and no one's done it yet. But
Erica's in. I'm committing her
Well,
May
obviously
3rd,
not this year. I'm
2025.
I'm going to Cincinnati this weekend because it would be this weekend, right? If it's the first
yeah,
weekend in
yeah,
May.
I
So,
mean, it's probably sold out anyway.
mhm.
But anyway, it is. Let me tell you,
Totally be down for that.
in all seriousness, it is an old school ultra race. You're going to get there, and there are some of the most legendary Southeastern ultra runners there. A lot of like So for example, there's a local guy here named David Jones who actually owns the North American record for the fastest 100 miles for, I think, like he's like, I don't know, he's like 70. And he can like
Wow.
run 100 miles in like 19 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
If
Anyway,
only I could do that.
so anyway, he's won Badwater before, and this guy's located like in our town. Anyway,
Mhm.
he goes to Strolling Jim and he runs it all the time. It's just the atmosphere is just unreal, and it's just great. So anyway, that's my plug, Garrett. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I had to
You're
get
fine.
it in before.
You really
Before
don't
I
have to
forgot.
sell me too hard on that.
N-
That sounds like a blast.
He will plug that in every single guest interview that we do. It's very much his thing that he has to do. So I have a part-time job at Fleet Feet and I kind of do something
Mhm.
similar. Now, have you guys heard, do you guys know what awesome sauce is?
Yes. So, what is the controversy with
Got
I
it.
got it.
seen it
Okay,
everywhere.
Okay.
I actually did try the awesome sauce because that's like the apple pie like flavor, right?
Mhm.
So essentially, what happened was some sort of chemist took it
Someone smarter than
and
the four of us, it sounds like.
Mhm.
ran a bunch of tests on it to see if the content actually equal to what the package said. I'm wanting to say the package says it's like 45 grams.
45
It was
grams and
actually
180 calories because I looked
it,
at it this
it
weekend.
it was actually only 15 grams when it was actually measured out, and it was actually
Oh
only
no.
and actually only 60 calories instead of 180 calories based off of the gram of the weight on it. So anyway, he's reached out to obviously, Spring, and they said that they were going to do some more testing on it to see if it actually is legit of what they're saying. And then there was a whole controversy where sage, is sage. And so, that all happened as well. But yeah, that's basically it. I don't use awesome sauce.
Unreal. That is so off. It's not even funny.
Yeah. No.
Wow.
But yeah, so I try to plug that in. I'm like, what do you guys think of awesome sauce? And then just try to go down this rabbit hole with him. That is very much like I'm the same way with that as he is with Strolling
Mhm.
Jim. So tell us about On the Runs. How did that come about? Obviously, the name is interesting. Your logo is absolutely fantastic, and it makes a whole lot of sense.
I'm throwing this right over to Eric because
Is it-
this is his baby and he's the best at explaining all the little caveats and nuances that we have. So,
It was
Well,
baby child.
we were just running, and I was actually on the phone earlier today with someone, kind of having like a pod meeting or whatever, trying to talk about things to do or whatever, and they go, "You guys have never really talked about your, I'm going to call it foundation, right? That's the word we're going to use, Erica. We're going to call it our foundation. How we started. I don't know. You're like, yeah. Um,
oh, it's fine. I don't care.
Erica and I have known each other for 20 years. Holy shit. We met in college.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, we met in college and neither of us were big time runners. I was an athlete, like, or at least thought I was. Were you? No, you didn't run. You didn't start running until after college. And
Mm-hmm.
I moved to North Carolina and I worked in NASCAR. And then I came back. And when I got in this whole Ironman phase, triathlon, and I got really addicted and my runs got longer and longer, just because we're Facebook friends and we had a ton of mutual friends. Like we would party. We'd go to parties together and always see each other. You were running for all these marathons and I was running for all these Ironmans, and we started doing like a Sunday morning breakfast club run, and we would all meet
Mm-hmm.
at this other girl's house and go for runs. And guess what I did the entire time we ran? I talked. I just kept talking and talking and talking. And Erica was, she's a fantastic listener.
I mean,
See,
Eric, it
there I
sounds
go.
like
I can't even say the
it
word
sounds like
there.
talking so hard for you, though.
It is. I can't pronounce anything. um, but all what I do during the day at work and stuff is I listen to talk radio, sports talk mainly, and then all of a sudden podcast became big, and I'm like, I always thought I'd be really good at sports talk radio, which is not actually true. I would be terrible because I can't speak. And I'm like, I want to do a podcast and I want to do like a hockey podcast or something, but just randomly, I said on a run, like, we should have a running podcast. And we spit out a ton of ideas. And one was like, oh, well, we can run with cameras attached to us and it will be like us running. And let's be honest, no one wants to
Talk
hear
about
it.
all the crap that you spout out while you're running.
Yeah.
That's
But
where it started, but
Yeah.
evolved.
But let's be honest, no one wants to hear me be like, so this one time, yeah, I remember in college. Oh my God, hold on, this hill is crushing me. I'll tell you the top. But basically, us and two other friends, we started a podcast and we did 3 episodes on sitting on the floor, one microphone around a table, and 3 episodes happened once a month, and then it kind of died. But Erika and I continued to talk about this every day. We took our group chat separate with just the 2 of us, and I'm brainstorming things off of her. She's on board. Yeah, I'm so lucky she has no kids, because if she had kids, no way we both could do this, right? And I said, you know what? Let's just not let it feel like work. Let's just meet on Monday nights. We bought microphones. Let's go to your house and let's just turn them on and talk and see what happens. And we did like 5 more episodes. And by the time we hit double digits, we thought like, okay, we found our identity. And our identity was no one wants to hear about us. We could talk about us, but no one's going to listen. We want to talk to others and we want to have them on and hear their stories. Now, everyone has this journey, right? But within that journey is a ton of stories. And that leads us to the name, On the Runs, right? Everybody gets the quote unquote, as we call it, code brown. And I get them, or at least during COVID when we were running, I got them all the time.
Definitely all him. It's all him.
Yeah. Well, since doing the podcast, she's had a few, but I would always run into the woods and I was like, we need to think of these like biodegradable wet wipes that you can take with you on the run. And then I go, that's it. Our podcast is going to be called On the Run. And then I go, wait, on the runs, because you get the runs when you go for a run. So we've had so much fun. We've been doing it, 2 years. We've been building like our brand identity, and we've been just evolving throughout the time, having on some really cool people, a lot of local runners, a lot of people just like us and you. We've gotten lucky where we've gotten a few. We had Aaron Azar. That was awesome. Erika has a crush. She would totally go lesbian for Bex Gentry. And so we got Bex Gentry on the pod. And then we just
throw me under the bus, man.
I listened to that episode. I could hear your blushing.
Yeah.
Thank
oh
you.
my God.
Yeah, it was there. It was there.
It's going to
For
be on
everyone to
YouTube
see.
soon. It will be on YouTube. And then we just hit 100 episodes, and we got Catherine Switzer for a 100 because we did our whole entire Boston Week series. And I'm learning a ton. Erika is my rock star. I could not do this without her.
And I say we wouldn't have this podcast without him because I don't do any of the editing. I don't do the scheduling. So
She does nothing.
Without him, there's nothing. So
She just shows up when I ask her to, and she's there and she's committed. And that's all I ask. And that's all I want. Besides, I would like for you to post a little more on Instagram. That's an ongoing thing, right?
I'll work on it.
We have so much fun. The logo. So we first we didn't have one, and then we finally we went through this whole process to get one, and we found one, and it had 2 runners with toilet paper behind them. And this girl, she's amazing, Alejandra, lives in Mexico. She's like an up and coming graphic designer, made this logo. And so we had 3 rolls of toilet paper behind us, and it looked amazing. We're like, yes, let's do it. That's the one. All right, let's post it. Everyone, here's our logo. And then everybody's like, what's that behind you? We're like, it's toilet paper. It doesn't look like toilet paper. It totally looked like little swimmers when you make babies.
Oh my God.
It was semen. It looked just like little semen swimmers. So we
had her do some editing.
Yeah, we had our own code brown.
Yeah.
So the code brown.
That's a major code brown. I might not make it off the trail code brown.
It was, yeah.
I love to tell people, listen, a code brown doesn't have to be an actual crap in your pants moment. It's any crap moment. Could be that. Could be running into a bear on the trail. Could be sitting down in a porta potty and then realizing you're sitting down in someone else's crap. Could be so many things. Erika,
Falling
help
at
me out.
falling at mile 13 during
Yeah,
the Yeti 100.
Yeah, just fall, or having a wiener dog bite you in the butt. That
All right.
happened.
Yeah.
It happened. Like these things happen, and people come on our podcast and tell us they're code browns, and they don't have to be actual poop stories. We get a few, we do. And so we recently just re-updated our logo. We got rid of the runners, which stuck around for a while, minus the swimmer. And now we have a running poop emoji, running and bringing you some toilet paper. And we gave him a name, and his name is Stooley.
That'll work.
Yeah,
that works.
So that's the podcast in a nutshell. Listen, we have fun. I love it. I freaking love doing this, and I love talking to like you about doing yours and others. And I'm hoping to help start. I'm hoping to help some other friends start their own podcasts. Maybe do some stuff behind the scenes. I freaking love this, man, and I just have so much fun. But we said in the beginning, let's do it until it feels like work, and when it feels like work, we're working too hard. I've hit the point and I've gone way past it. This is work and I love it. And that's the only thing is I freaking love it. And I have no problem doing it. I will give Erika, like I'll say, she does nothing. She just shows up when I ask her to. That's the way I want it to be. And she can
got his visions and I don't want to mess with them.
Right. She can post on her Instagram story as much as she wants. Like, that's fine. I love that. Like, that gets more out there. And I don't want to make it about me. And I am totally down for like building Erika's rock starness. And I'm gonna make you a star, which is not really the
I don't
goal.
need that. No.
But
I just want to share my love for running. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of what we like to do.
But I think I've gotten you comfortable, like me just all of a sudden throwing the camera on you and
more so, yeah.
Because I can't do it to me. If someone threw it on me, that's fine. But I can't pump my own tires unless you ask like this. But I can't constantly be put like, I don't think anyone wants to hear about me or us. It's like we want to hear about you, and we want to have the runners come on and tell us their stories. And it can be a triathlete too. And maybe one day we'll venture and get this girl just sailed across the entire world. And I'm like, once in a while we can have something else. Like maybe we try to get Cole Brower, who finished second in a race around the world in a sailboat. I'm like, that's super cool. And I think it's interesting. And if it's interesting to me, I want to talk to people. And that's the identity. We have people on the podcast and we hear about them and their stories, not us. Occasionally we'll talk about Erika's 100, which is like one of our best episodes ever, like download wise.
People love hearing about how miserable I was.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great episode, and I just edited that one for YouTube, so it'll be on YouTube soon. So now I've like learned one thing, and then I move on to the next, and I'm learning the next, and I learned Canva, and I learned this, and all that I'm doing every night, guys, is I'm going to the University of YouTube and learning more and how to make this, how to grow it with the vision I have, and I freaking love it.
And Erika, you are a rock star. I've got your Strava pulled up, and I just happened to look at the side-by-side comparison, which is
no.
Hold
on. What is the last name? Let me troll while we're doing this as well.
Hamel.
I got to accept you. Yeah. I'll do it right now.
Hamel. So
we're private, I see.
Yeah. Gotta
so
the competition
I have to
doesn't know.
My privacy now,
you have to change that. You're an influencer now. Come on.
You gotta respect my own privacy, man.
Hold on. What's the last name again?
Hamel. Hamel.
Yeah.
Mel. Okay.
Like
we said that at the beginning.
Listen, Erika, we'll keep your OnlyFeet page private, but Strava make that public.
You're averaging almost 50 miles a week and 10 hours of running a week over the last 4 weeks. You are a bit of a rock star.
That's because I'm getting into the real swing of things. Yeah.
Well, I was on the wrong section.
She's a rock star, guys. She's a freaking legit rock star.
I mean, you're blowing me out of the water here on everything except elevation, but that's just because I happen to.
I hate elevation.
We've been talking about that. I'm like, you need to get more elevation in trail. So I took her for a run today, like we said, but it was not on pavement and it had a little bit of elevation. And we have another friend, a lover of the pod, as I like to call her. She's like, hey, I know you got to do some hills. We got to get Erika on this hill too. We're not going to tell her about it though.
You know what?
How was
I will do these runs. Like I really I would rather be social and have people to run with and be a little miserable with hills. Like it really doesn't take much. So
Misery loves
feel free to
company.
keep inviting
Yeah.
me.
All right,
Yes.
all right, all right. I got the request in. I found you finally.
I mean, misery loves company. Let's all be miserable on a hill. Unless you're
Yes.
Eric, because then you want to run the hill as fast as you can with a double stroller and set a record. No.
Excellent.
There you go.
So last thing, Boston. Is this an annual event for you guys to go? Because you guys, again, I told you I watched all the reels. As you said, I like to do my homework. I kind of do. And you guys are highly entertaining.
Thank
Do
you.
you get to go down every year and do this and just be these cheerleaders? I've never been to a major marathon, let alone run a major marathon. I've actually never run a road marathon. Um, what started that? And Erica, why did you let him get a megaphone?
That was my fault.
The
So
two-part
we
story. I'll let Erika tell the first part.
So we started going down to Boston 2 years ago, and we just always have people like with the podcast, we're just meeting new people. They happen to have Boston as a goal, and us being so close, we're only 45 minutes away from Boston. We're like, I'm gonna take a day off of work. If you I don't think Eric gets the day off, so he might have to do PTO, but it's really easy for us to just take the day off and go down and cheer on our friends. So I think this will be a yearly occurrence. It is unbelievable the energy that you get from these races, the majors, because you get thousands and thousands and thousands of runners coming by, but you're also getting the thousands of spectators around you. So it's just electric everywhere.
I mean,
and
I had FOMO watching your guys' videos. Like,
It was an absolute blast. We lucked out where it was actually nice weather this year, so the crowds were even more enormous than they usually are. That's the kicker. And we like to set ourselves up at mile 19. So if you're familiar with the Boston Marathon, that is right at the base of Heartbreak Hill. So the runners are already hot and tired and struggling. They've been up a few hills here and there, but this one's the doozy, like the last of the big hills. So we like to just kind of park it there, cheer them on, and I have to say that megaphone, I bought it 2 years ago and it was the best $13 I've ever purchased. But last year, I did not let Eric use it. I don't think he got his hands on it. But
I was
but
sick
this
last
year,
year. Remember, I had no voice.
that's right. Well, maybe I should have given it to you because then people would have heard you. But so this year, just me trying to do some filming myself. We had our friends coming in and I was offering them like the beverages, like we had some Cokes and like a seltzer water for one girl, and I was trying to give them to our friends. So I'm like, here, you take the megaphone, get their attention. And I was just in the very inconvenient spot where he was standing with the the megaphone pointed right at my ears, and just I can't really fault him because he was trying to get people's attention,
I
and
was
it
getting
just was
content.
right in my eardrum.
So I had the phone and I'm trying to get video actually of Erika cheering and being like, hey, Lindsay, hey, Jay, hey, guys. And so I would yell at the microphone and I had my phone in front of it getting Erika's reaction. I just happened to be right there in her ear. Like, oops, sorry,
I'm like,
not
oh,
sorry. That microphone gave me some energy because I was hitting a wall. I'll be honest, I was hitting a wall. And hey, Larkin, how are you? Hi.
that's Mr. Eric. And then that's Miss Erica up there.
Hello.
So,
What a
wanna say hi?
beautiful dress you have.
I like
What'd you
the
get-
bow.
What'd
I'm
you
a
get
big
to
fan
do?
of that bow.
I get to skip school and get my nails done.
What?
I'm so jealous.
So,
Hey, what happened to your tooth? Were you playing hockey? Maybe. Hey, you want to see something cool?
It's a party trick he's got.
Good party trick.
so,
You can keep that in the pod too.
Of course.
Yeah.
You
Now, how do you lose yours? Were you like blocking the puck, saving a goal for your hockey team?
Tell them how you lost your tooth.
It was wiggly and it fell out.
After you hit your knee in your mouth.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, that was for this tooth.
No,
You know
it
what
was
you-
the tooth you're missing. So, all right.
You know what you should do? Like next time, tie a string to it and let your dad do something fun.
Like throw the toaster down the stairs.
No, don't you dare.
Don't you dare, Dad.
All right. We're
Well,
gonna finish up
Larkin, I
with-
hear it's your birthday soon, so we
Yeah.
want to wish you a very happy birthday.
What do you think? The correct response is thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Larkin, hold on.
When I went to Mexican, when I got cheesy rice, after we saved Daddy some treats and they sang me happy birthday.
Hey, that's so fun. That cheesy rice sounds really good too, by the way.
Gosh, it's so good. So,
Hey-
all right, we're gonna finish up, and I'll be out in a minute. Okay.
Hey, real quick, Larkin,
Oh.
how old are you gonna be? 6?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, 6. Yes.
You're gonna be 6. So I have a daughter. She just turned 8, and I'm gonna tell you this. This episode of your dad's is gonna be the best ever because when my daughter came on my podcast, it was the best ever.
Gosh, what do you think?
We're gonna do that this year on someday.
You know what we should do? Maybe you and my daughter should do a podcast together because my daughter really wants to do one. Maybe
my gosh.
it could be the Adeline and Larkin show.
What do you think?
I like it. I like it.
All right.
I can see the wheels spinning. She's already thinking of, okay, we're going to have a TikTok account, a YouTube channel.
So, all right, you going on now? I'll be out in a minute. Okay. Okay. Okay, we can wait in a second. So, okay. So, in closing, guys,
I have
we
no
really
clue what we were
appreciate
talking about.
well,
Oh.
let
Fun
me-
at Boston. Fun at
I
Boston.
want to continue on Boston though, real quick.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
give me 1 second. All right,
Yeah.
I'll be right back. Go on. Take a second, okay?
How sweet
That's-
is she?
She can be. So, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
believe
she showed
me,
us her
I
good
know.
side.
So, yeah, that is her favorite thing to do is come in and say hi. So, thank you for flattering her.
Yeah, my
Our
daughter,
pleasure,
my
she's
daughter will
adorable.
come in and then she'll be. My daughter has so much energy, right? And then I'll be like, "You want to say hi?" And she'll be like, "Hi." And I'll be like, "That is not you. I don't know who
Right.
that is."
Right.
um.
So, back to Boston.
So yeah. After we were very happily interrupted by Larkin, that was so awesome. The one thing I want to say was Boston's kind of a 2-part thing. So yes, we go there and we celebrate and we cheer everyone on and we let everyone know where we're gonna be. We have our banner there. It's a blast. But we've also done throughout the life of this podcast so far a couple of themed months. And so like October, we talked to these amazing women who've all battled and kicked the ass of cancer, breast cancer mainly. And we call it our Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we talk to these women. For Boston, we do something called Boston Weeks. And I thought of this 2 years ago because Erika's run Boston before. And Boston is extremely difficult to get in. You have to either run wicked fast, like outrageously fast, or you have to
Mhm.
fundraise at least $10,000 for some charity. And it's so hard. So the idea behind Boston Weeks was have Boston runners on, mainly who are running and fundraising to help pump their tires and create awareness and talk about like what you do to fundraise and how they got there and how they got their bib. And so this was our 3rd year at Boston Weeks. And Boston is like super special. I was born in Boston. We're just north of Boston. It is the greatest marathon in the world. In my mind, Erika might differ only because she had a bad Boston experience.
Didn't have a bad Boston. The weather was bad.
But we do this Boston Week series and where we highlight these runners running, and it's basically the entire month of April. We highlight the runners who are going to run, and then we do the week we're there, and we try to get the live content, almost like a live show, and we do like a recap, and then we have runners who run for their own recap, and it's basically takes up the entire month. So we call it Boston Weeks. It's a big deal. There's a lot of lead up. I like to pump the tires for it. It is It is, dude. We just have fun and we got to keep it entertaining. So we do the themes like we did March Madness, Boston Weeks, Breast Cancer Month. And then we try to take a little time for ourselves and we're going to think of more fun things. But that's my favorite thing is the entire month of April where we do Boston Weeks and we talk to all those amazing runners who are running that race. And it's a blast. It's a party. I have no plans to run it anytime soon because I want to be at mile 19. And if I'm running the Boston Marathon, I'm going to have FOMO too because I'm missing out.
But then you get to slap your own slap here for power or whatever.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
power boost.
That was my
your
brother.
power
My
boost board.
brother flew in for that and he made that sign. And man, that was awesome, wasn't it?
See?
That was so
Just-
cool.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
so proud of him for being that creative. I had my own signs, but I didn't even touch them. He had that one and I was like, this is it. This is getting the people pumped and getting them up that hill, and that's all we wanted.
This
There
is
you go.
okay. So if Erika does the race, the amazing Jim or whatever it was,
Strolling.
You guys-
Jim.
the Strolling Jim, you guys have to fly up here for Boston Weeks and celebrate with us at mile 19, unless Erika's running, because then it might be different. But it's a quick flight. Go to the Nashville airport, quick like hop in Philly, come to Manchester. We'll pick you up. We'll drive you to Boston. It's a blast. You guys will have a lot of fun. We'll give you a megaphone.
You don't want to give me a megaphone.
Dueling megaphones. Yeah.
Dueling megaphone.
Who's gonna
I'll
be
go stand
who's
on
gonna
the
be
other
louder?
side of the street and we'll just you'll get it from both sides. So
Yeah, it would be cool. It would be like a Boston OTR TTP collab at mile
there you
19.
go.
Yes.
I'm all for that. We'll
Yes.
make that happen. If she gets into Strolling Jim, I will come up to Boston. At least I will come up to Boston.
All
So-
right.
I will
all
save
right.
the date right now for next year. I'm writing it down. I swear I will.
The only thing is if she gets into Boston, because now that's her goal for next year, postpone it one more year because I want
That'll work.
Erika to be with us when you do that. My
That'll
goal
work.
is to like build up this mile 19, little fun time. It's a blast. It's kind of our spot now. So I keep thinking
seriously do Strolling Jim. I
of
seriously will.
If you do
Jason,
Strolling
you
Jim
got
next
one.
year, here
Yeah.
you go. Because I have yet to do Strolling Jim.
So you guys
too?
can do it.
You want to
So
join?
you guys can do it together.
The only catch is my daughter's birthday is May 4th, which is typically almost always the first weekend in May.
Mm-hmm.
So depends
Is it
on
a Saturday or a Sunday of that weekend?
It's Saturday. It's always Saturday. The race is always on a Saturday.
So it's May 3rd next year. You're good. May the 4th
I
be with
might be
Larkin.
good.
Well, I definitely don't want to take up time away from Larkin, so we'll talk about it. We can
That'll
figure
work.
it out.
That'll work. So
Just
go ahead
run
and
it
give
in
us a
under
plug.
7 hours so you can spend more time with her and you get a red shirt.
See, there you go. There you go. So go ahead and give a plug. Where can we find your podcast on the runs?
You can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts, but the best way to do it is just go to our Instagram page at On the Runs. Link in bio will bring you everywhere. I'm going to keep growing it, but we got the YouTube channel right now that is growing. We're at 75 subscribers. Like we were at 55 the other day, so we took a jump of 20. I was pretty excited.
Big jump.
Everything is in
Nice.
Instagram though. You go to Instagram, you're going to get daily posts. You're going to get teasers on Monday. You're going to get the episode drop on Tuesday. You're going to get like one reel a day of the podcast, maybe something else that I create. I like to do these monthly recaps every month too. Spotify, Apple, anywhere. It's like I get some weird spots that people listen on. I'm like, never heard of this, but it's cool. You listened. I love it. Thank you. We just have fun, man. If you guys check us out, we have fun. If you want to start with episode 1, sure, but it gets better. It gets a lot better as we figure things out.
They all
and-
get better. I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. We go back and listen to some of our first ones. We're like, the fuck were we doing?
It's part of the journey, man.
Learning
It is part of the
experience.
freaking
So-
journey. We just dropped. So sometimes we'll drop something we call an OTR classic, and maybe we do 2 a year. So for Boston Weeks, because the Boston Marathon's on Monday and we drop an episode on Tuesday, we dropped a classic that Tuesday and we said we'll be back on Thursday. We'll give you a bonus episode this week. But one of my goals is to always have an episode drop on Tuesday. So we dropped episode 21, which was Mike Beeman, the guy I mentioned who lives in Georgia, right? He's originally from here. He just ran his 47th straight Boston Marathon. So we dropped our OTR classic of Mike Beeman from 2 years ago. It was a great episode, great stories. I loved it. I was like, yes, we did it. Erika even cracked open a beer to start the episode. It was a blast. When I was like re-uploading that and I listened, I was like, wow, we sucked. Oh my God, Erika, we were awful.
No. Yeah.
Episode 21, and we thought we were like knew what we were doing by then. Man, we did not. So
So start with episode 21.
it was a fun one. It was a fun one.
No.
I always tell people, if you really want to start from the beginning, start with the number 11. Episode 11 is like where we really felt like, okay, we got our identity. We got our first guest who wasn't somebody we knew. And it was an eye-opener in so many ways too, because that was the start of like learning how to interview somebody. And we don't even like to call it an interview anymore. It's just a talk, a conversation, a discussion that we're having and getting to know someone, like sitting around a campfire over a few beers, hearing stories about on the runs, like what happens. And we had Addie Zarenner, who 5 weeks before that went viral for crapping all over herself at the CIM marathon in Sacramento and ran a 2:37 and qualified for the Olympic trials.
I mean, propulsion.
And the best part of the story was it wasn't about the actual crap. It was about like the aftermath, the finding, the getting help, cleaning up, like having to throw away her $250 shoes. The guy who gives you the water after and it's like, I don't know what to do. Do I just pour this on her? Like,
it is a great episode to go back and listen to.
And that's the thing about the stories, man. We're here for the stories, and some of them are just super inspirational or sad or happy, and then some are just out there, like Pizza Gut. Go check out Pizza Gut. That is up your alley.
Neil Murphy is one of my top 2. He's been on twice. He's just an amazing ultra runner. He's got great stories. He has a way with words. So if I have to suggest an episode to listen to, that would be the one. Was he 19? What episode was he?
19, and
Yeah,
we brought him back for the end of last year, and every year we are going to end the year with Neil Murphy because he just has a way, and it's totally X-rated. All the time it's X-rated. So some of these are PG and some are X.
If you guys are looking for a good guest, I would suggest hitting him up because he is just so much fun.
All right, Neil Murphy, got him down.
Neil Murphy.
Yeah, I'll send you his stuff, man. He's close to you. He's in Florida.
He's in Florida.
He's another Southeaster. So
ask him about the Florida man.
All right. So, well, guys, we really appreciate you coming on, giving some time to us tonight. It has been an absolute blast learning about your guys' journey. Eric, with you in your Ironman exploits, I guess I'll call them, and now your new challenge to push a double stroller up Mount Washington. Erika, welcome to the Yeti family. We are very happy that you have found a Yeti experience and that you're coming back for more. And we will be sure to I mean, I already follow along. Like, you guys have a fantastic product with On the Runs. I can't say enough about how much you guys do for the community up there. With your reels, you're very active and involved, and I'm sure that you guys give a lot of inspiration to anyone that listens and happens to see you at mile 19 of Boston. Thanks again, guys. We really appreciate you coming on. And yeah, until next time, be safe out there.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Keep pumping out those episodes. Keep doing the content. Keep doing your thing. Consistency. Just get it out. Have fun with it. It's fun, dude. I'm so happy for you guys. Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you.
It was awesome. Guys.